Which interesting football facts did you not know? From which of your favorite footballers actually has an extra limb, to which of their uncles was the main cast member of Friends? Okay, maybe I'm stretching the interesting facts just a tiny bit. Interesting. Hey everyone, it is Finn here, that is FYW. Hope you're holding super well, and as you can see I have blankets and that everywhere because I'm not gonna lie, it is freezing cold here, and I mean, I live in Africa. What the fuck? Yeah, it is cold, I'm staying warm, and guys, I found a list on the internet of, 15 facts that you actually might not believe are true if I didn't read these to you. I mean, these facts are pretty amazing and pretty much hard to beat, I'm going to say that. So yeah, let's get into this with the first one, and guys, if you do like football, if you do enjoy soccer in general, please subscribe to this channel and I'd really appreciate that support. We are growing this channel, we are growing high and mighty, slowly but, surely. This fact I have for you guys is Philipp Lahm went over a year without conceding a foul in the Bundesliga. Now Philipp Lahm, he is currently 36 years old, he retired in 2017. And guys, to me that is a huge waste because Philipp Lahm was one of the best right backs in the world along with Dani Alves during that era, and I think it was way too early to retire. I mean, he retired at the age of 33. He is now currently 3 years younger than Zlatan, and Lahm retired 3 years ago. I mean, I just found that such a huge waste. He could have played for many more years, but who knows why he left Bayern Munich. Maybe it's because he felt he could achieve all that he could at that club and he didn't want to play for anyone else. Who knows? But yeah, the German captain who lifted the World Cup for them and many more accolades went all over a year without getting a single foul. For a right back, for a defender, that is beyond impressive. I mean, it's something else saying that he didn't get a single yellow card, because even that in itself is impressive. But not to make any disciplinary mistakes for a whole year in the Bundesliga, for 13 months to be specific, that is well done, Lahm. The second fact I have for you guys is Jose Mourinho didn't win any Premier League Managers of the Month awards in 2 of his 3 Premier League title winning seasons. Yeah, that's right. So Jose Mourinho obviously won 3 Premier League titles, and in 2 of those he didn't get any Manager of the Month awards. He only got it in his first one. He got 2 Manager of the Month awards in his debut season for Chelsea when he absolutely destroyed and almost got an invincible season, and he also got one in the 06-07 season. At the end of the day, I think Jose Mourinho will go down as a legendary manager. Look, maybe he doesn't have the same fire, or there's just, there's something missing in Jose, which makes me sad because, I mean, everyone loves Jose, right? Okay, well, maybe not everyone loves Jose, but question for you guys, and I want you guys to vote in the I Think up above. Obviously, Jose Mourinho isn't seen to be as good as he used to be. I mean, he used to be like the best manager in the world. I want to ask you guys, do you guys think Jose Mourinho can get back to the top of the podium where he used to be? Vote in that I Think up above. The third fact I have for you guys is Neymar won a La Liga Player of the Month award before Messi did. Now, the accolade was introduced in 2013 and Neymar won it in 2013. And Messi won his first La Liga Player of the Month award in 2016, which is quite a bizarre thing because, Messi, along with Ronaldo being one of the best in the world, you would have assumed him to win it earlier. I mean, 3 months after Neymar, but at the end of the day, there was that kind of peak if you think about it. 6 years ago when Neymar, he was about early 20s then. I mean, he was definitely in his prime, in his peak. I mean, that's not to say he's not in his peak now, but you know what I mean. He was young, he had lots of fire, and I mean, he was getting a lot of attention, so I can see why he got that. Next fact I have for you is a Manchester United one, which makes me very, very happy as a Red Devil fan myself, I'll let you know. And it is Manchester United have never lost the Premier League match after leading at halftime. Like, I'll admit, as a United fan, lots of records have been broken this season that have not gone in United's favour, like losing for the first time at home to Crystal Palace in the Premier League, and many other stats that have really just torn me down as a United fan. But this is a proud stat I am really just happy that we have kept, because it really shows our persistence and that we don't crumble under pressure once we do get the lead. We don't slack off, which I really do appreciate that as a United fan, and that is a very exciting fact overall. Theo Walcott has more Champions League goals than Brazilian Ronaldo, Zinedine Zidane, Klaus, David Villa, Eden Hazard and Alexis Sanchez. Now those are some big legends, but Theo Walcott, the ex-Arsenal man, has 15 Champions League goals, which is more than any of the other players I mentioned, which are absolute legends of the game. And I mean, let's be honest, Theo Walcott didn't end up being the super wonder kid that everyone expected him to be. He is now playing at Everton, and look, I mean, a bit like Jack Wilshere, also obviously from Arsenal. I think there was lots of hype about them, but sadly they didn't achieve what they were expected to. But I mean, Theo Walcott, 15 goals overall in the Champions League to beat the likes of Brazilian Ronaldo, Zidane, etc., I think that is very impressive. And I mean, let's be honest, that's his most impressive stat. The next stat I have for you guys is Cristiano Ronaldo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic have scored in every minute of the game. And I know what you're thinking, wow, that must have been an exciting game to watch. No, of course, I mean, throughout their careers, they have scored, you know, accumulating all their games together from minute 1 to minute 90. Each of them have done that, and that is a very impressive stat. I mean, two of the best, I would say, attackers in the world. And I've seen people say Zlatan Ibrahimovic is an overrated player. I mean, let's be 100% honest. Zlatan Ibrahimovic drove his mom home from the hospital the day he was born. I mean, the man is an absolute legend, and I mean, I can't fault him. I think he is an amazing player overall, and he has achieved great things, along with Ronaldo, obviously 5 Ballon d'Ors. I mean, you can see that these two players are probably like the best of their generations, or at least among some of them. And you know what? I'm not that surprised that they've gotten these stats. Next stats I have for you guys is another Zlatan Ibrahimovic one. And it is the fact that he has played for 6 Champions League winning clubs, but he himself has never won a Champions League. Yeah, that is right. And I think that's where a lot of criticism comes in for him when they say, yeah, he's never won a Champions League trophy, but he has won accolades literally everywhere else he's gotten. I mean, AC Milan, Inter Milan, PSG, Juventus, and, you know, United. He didn't win the Premier League, but he still did win trophies. He looked very strong when he was at LA Galaxy. At the end of the day, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a legend. I mean, he came all the way through the Ajax Academy, guys. I mean, I have to say, one of the best attackers in our generation. And the Champions League, it is such a pity that he has never won it, but you do have huge players that have never won it. Like, let's be honest, Buffon in goal, Nedved, the old Juventus legend. Players like that have never won the Champions League, but they'll still go down in history. Back to number 8 for you guys is a pretty interesting one because it's really not something you'd expect, and it is the fact that in 2010, during the South African World Cup, yes, finally we have pride in sport in Africa, the first World Cup in Africa, in South Africa. Ooh, I am so happy. Yes, I know we didn't necessarily do that well in the World Cup, but yeah, at the end of the day, Spain, although they were the winners of that World Cup, only scored 8 goals that entire tournament. Now, I know that's not like, you know, like 1 or 2 goals, like 8 goals, that is still pretty good. But I mean, Spain had a very good team. I mean, midfield-wise, they had Xavi, they had Iniesta. Attacking-wise, they had some of the best attackers / strikers in the world back then. But yet, they only managed 8 goals the entire tournament. But at the end of the day, that really showed the mentality that Spain had. Like, let's be honest, half that team was at least Barcelona. Barcelona won the World Cup in 2010. And it really showed more of a beautiful play kind of football rather than scoring a lot of goal kind of football. Tiki-taka is what that is. Fact number 9 I have for you guys is Gary Lineker never got a yellow card throughout his entire career. Now, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but if that's true, that is very, very fascinating, and that's pretty impressive overall. But you know what? That also means he shot himself more times on the field than he's got in yellow cards. I mean, Steve Bruce once scored 19 goals in a season from centre-back position. Yes, that's right, the Newcastle manager, when he captained Manchester United in the 1991 season in the just before the Premier League started. He did get 13 goals in the league and 19 goals overall, which, I mean, for centre-back, wow, that is scary. And I mean, to be Manchester United's top scorer in the league from a centre-back position, what kind of drugs are you on? Don't worry, I won't tell Maradona. Rooney, Gareth Bale, and Kevin Davies are the only 3 players to have scored in a game, gotten an assist, and an own goal in the same game. I mean, you have to be happy to get a goal and assist. That alone gets you man of the match. But to score an own goal, I mean, I guess you kind of just get bored throughout the game and say, you know what, let me just do what no one expects. I mean, yeah, I guess that detracts away from the win a tiny bit, but at the end of the day, it's still a goal and assist. And I mean, these are some legendary players, but let's be honest, an own goal, that's not that impressive. Phil Jones can do that. Number 12 is Kingsley Coleman, the Bayern Munich left midfielder from France, has won a league title every season of his professional career, which is an incredible stat for a man in his mid-20s to have done something like that is very impressive. I mean, he won at PSG back-to-back, at Juventus, along with Bayern Munich, but at the same time, I mean, they're almost, I don't want to say farmers leagues, but they are like the dominant team in each of those leagues. But I mean, Kingsley Coleman, to have that many accolades, I mean, winning title after title after title is very impressive. It is sad that he has struggled through injury and has really struggled because that really stops him from becoming one of the best in the world. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still a great player, but he has struggled with injuries, and he himself has said if he suffers from another leg injury that he might actually consider hanging up his boots early. The next fact I have for you guys is a pretty weird one, and it is Stefan Schwartz, I think that's his name, I'm not too sure, from Sunderland all those years ago. When he signed his contract, when he moved from Valencia to Sunderland, had a pretty weird contract to say nonetheless. I mean, you might say it's like, oh, if you score X amount of goals, you get this bonus or blah, blah, blah. No. His contract stated that if he ever went into space, went into space as in out of space, not like free space on a field, his contract would then become invalid. Yeah, that's right. They're so scared that a player runs away from them to the point where they go into space that they considered making his contract invalid. Think about that for a second. I mean, yeah, Sunderland, I guess in recent years you've been a scary team to play for because you just like fall down quicker than most Salah in that Champions League final with Sergio Ramos. But I mean, really? Number 14, the second last one I have here. The fact that Jose Mourinho went 150 games, 9 years without a home defeat. I mean, can we just talk about that for a second? 9 years. That is insane. That is half my age. That is half my age. He has gone undefeated at home. Yes, he hasn't done super well in recent years, but that is, I mean, let's be honest, Jose Mourinho is definitely the special one. Well, he's at least a special one. We can at least agree on that. The last fact I have for you guys is another interesting one, and well, you know what, in my opinion, all these facts have been pretty interesting. You guys can let me know up above, vote in the I thingy whether you think this has been interesting or not. It is Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey, which is a Spanish competition. It's basically like Spain's FA Cup or Carabao Cup or, you know, one of their side trophies. They beat, in 1980, Real Madrid beats their second team 6-1 in the final. Now that is pretty bizarre to meet up with your very own second team. I mean, on the bright side, everyone has home advantage, but I mean, that's pretty cool if you think about it. Beating your own, or at least facing your own second team in a final of a competition. I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty obvious who's going to win. But yeah, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the stats. If you do enjoy football and you want to learn more about football in general, please do subscribe to this channel because it would help me quite a lot, because I do love making these videos, of course. And if you want to check out my last video, it was actually not football related. I spoke with a friend and we did a would you rather, where you're giving 2 scenarios and, you know, we elaborated a bit and we had to choose one or the other. So, you know what, go check that video out. I had so much fun making that. I'll put it there on the side and click my icon to subscribe to this channel. Once again, hope you have enjoyed it. I do love every single one of you. You guys are awesome. And yeah, bicycle kick, that like button and that subscribe button. Finn, FYWN, stay awesome. Cheers.